Hello, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, so I can hear you. Okay, I'm making
Yeah,
you the host now.
yeah, please make me the host so that I can admit people in.
All right, all right. Okay, you are now the host.
Okay, I'm not the host, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, cool.
Can you admit people now?
Yes, I can admit people.
Are you admitting guys now? Can I start? Okay.
Yes, you
Yeah, people are
can.
joining.
Okay, okay. So let me. Host disabled participant sharing screen. Do you, Chisholm? Can you do something? Enable me to share screen. I cannot share screen.
Okay.
I cannot share my screen. So
Okay.
host disabled participant screen sharing. So you go to enable screen sharing for participants. Do you understand?
Okay.
Let me do that.
Please, I cannot share my screen.
Good morning. Or good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Dorothy, I can hear you.
Okay, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. So Chisholm is trying to enable me to share my screen because he's the host. I cannot share my screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So he needs to enable me to
We enable you now. Yes, you will do that now.
Okay.
Okay, you can share your screen now.
All right.
So I'll take the questions. I'll put them on WhatsApp. Okay.
Okay. Sorry for this. This is actually my WhatsApp. Okay. So can you all see this?
Yes, I can see. I can see.
Okay. So obviously,
Yes, we can.
all right.
Yes, we are seeing it.
Okay. So let me just minimize this so I can start. So I can start straight away. I sent a file. So I sent a file to the WhatsApp group, though it's quite late. The file I sent is quite late, but we can still work with it. It's still the same. Obviously, it's still the same thing with what I shared before. So what we want to take a look at today is, if you look at the outline, I actually have an outline. So this is, I'm going to share a note with you with the class. So this is the outline. Can you see the screen? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay, all right.
yes, we can.
Okay, I just want to be sure that you can see the screen. So this is the outline. What we're going to be discussing. We're going to discuss range names, referencing, relative, lookup, VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP, index and match, and all the rest. So so let's just quickly start, because we actually do not have much time. So for the range names, so we are starting with a file. One of the sheets is the data sheet. So if I click on the data sheet, it takes me to this aspect. We have the average data. So basically, how do we name a range? There are different ways we can name a range. So this is just one of them. For you to name a range, start like what I explained in the last class. So you um, you select all the name range. This aspect, this where we have here is the what we have here is the name box. We actually call this the name box. So it's because I've already named this range before. That's why you are seeing this place as data. Do you get? So for me to disable that, can you hear me all? Okay, for me to disable that, what I'm simply going to do is to come to, I will come to formulas, just come to formulas, come to name managers. So you can see all the names I've created here. You can see all the names. Hello, Chisom, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear
I
you.
just want to be sure that, okay, the guys, everyone is hearing me. So you can see all the names that I've created here. So what I'm simply going to do now is I'm going to delete all these names. So to delete all the names, you can just press, you hold on, you select the first one. If you are with me, if you are on your system, so what you will do is you select the first one. I know you will not be able to do this because I am the one that is actually sharing my screen with you. So I will select this first one and hold Shift. Once I hold Shift, I'm selecting this, I'm holding Shift. So I'll go to the last item and click it. I'm still holding Shift and click. So once I click, I can just press the I can just press delete. Okay, I actually press delete on my keyboard. That's why it's showing that pop-up there. So I can just press delete here. So immediately I do that, it takes out all the names I've created. So what we want to do now is to start to create those names afresh. So the first thing you will do is, first of all, you highlight all this. You know how to, we all know how to do the highlighting now. You highlight all this. So once you highlight, you come to this name box. So this is the name box. The B2, this place is the name box. We call this the name box. So what you will do, you name this name box, just type it, just type in data. Okay, once you type in data, you click, you press enter. All right, so immediately you press enter, Excel recognizes everything that we have here as data. You can see it is taking it as data. Do you get? So that is one of the ways to name a range. This is actually a range. A range is a group of cells. Okay, if we have just one singular cell, B2, that's a cell. But if we have something like this, this is a range. So this is how you name a range. So we have named this range now as data. So what we want to do now is, now let's now assume we want to find the average of all these numbers. Okay, we want to find the average of all these numbers. You can see there is already the formula here. Okay, this formula is not active because I have an exclamation mark, a quotation mark here. All right, can you hear me? Can someone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, so this formula is not active because there is a quotation mark here. So immediately I remove this quotation mark, it becomes active. All right, so once you press enter, it returns the average of all these values. If you check all these values, you can look at it here. Once I highlight all this, the average of all these numbers is 1.375. So if you come here, you can see average 1.375. So that is basically how you do that. Now, another way you can also, so that is one of the ways you can name a range. You can just type in the range name inside the name box. This is the name box. So another thing you can also do is, okay, let me go back to the outline. Now, in each of these sheets, I've created an hyperlink. As the class goes on, we are going to see how we make use of hyperlinks. So I've created an hyperlinks in each of the sheets. Hyperlinks actually helps us to navigate Excel file easily. So instead of searching through different Excel sheets, you can just click on the hyperlink. So it takes you directly to where you want to go to. So hyperlink is actually one of the things we'll talk about, but I'm just trying to emphasize it here before we get there. So if I click on this outline, you can see it takes me back to the outline. It takes me back to the entire outline, like the first page of our workbook. All right. Now, let us look at another example of how we can name a range. So I will click on this. Meanwhile, note that I've shared this file with you on WhatsApp, so you can download it later and do some practice on your own. Please, Chisom, at any point in time, if I cannot be heard, I should be notified. All right?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
All right, great. So I'm going to click on states now. Now, if I click on states, this is another way of naming a range. All right? Now, this naming of range is called name. We use the function create from selection. Create from selection. Now, what I'm trying to say now here is, for instance, we want to attribute. Uh, these are states. Okay, it's actually the states we have in the U.S. Like about 50 states of the is it 50 now? Or yes, 50, count of 50. Now 50 states. Now what we want to do is we want to attribute, okay, each of these states have sales for March, and we want to attribute the sales to the states. All right. Now you cannot be doing this one by one. You cannot come here and select this, come here and type AL, select this, type AK in the name box, select this, type AZ. You can't do this for a whole lot of numbers like this. This is just 50. What if we have it as 1,000? What if we have it as 2,000? Okay, so it doesn't make sense, and it will be very tedious for us to be entering all these names one by one in this name box. So what we are simply going to do is to apply the create from selection. All right. So in the create from selection, the first thing we want to do here is that we want to highlight all the names. All right. So we want to highlight. So you can't do this. You can't actually. This is actually a long process. For you to do this, just highlight the first one, press your control, press your shift, and press down. Do you get? So let me do that again. I will highlight the first row. I will hold on control. I will hold on shift, and I will press the down arrow key. Control, shift, and down arrow key. So this will highlight the entire table at once. So after doing that, the next thing is you go to your create from selection. So I'm clicking create from selection here. All right. Now Excel, a dialog box pops up, says create name from selection. Now create names from values in the left. Okay. Create names from values in the left. All right. So I'm selecting this create names from values in the left. So once I do this, all right, and I click on OK. Can you see now? That is actually the default selection that we have there. All right. So if I now come here and type AK rather, you can see that AK, okay, is being recognized now. All right, AK is being recognized. Why? Because I have created it as a name. So in this case now, I'm not entering each of the states one by one. So I've created the entire, I've attributed names to the entire sales in each of the states just at once, all at once. All right. Now, for instance, now let's say I want to, okay, for you to know that you have created all the names, there is something important that you must do. And what is that you must do? You can come here and click on the name, this drop down arrow in the name box. Okay. Once you click on the drop down arrow in the name box, it shows you all the names that you have created. Can you see this? So you can see all the names that you have created. Am I still being heard?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. So you can see all the names that is being created. So these are the names that is being created. Now let's now say that we want to find the sum of, let's say, the first 5 states in the US. Okay. All right. So let's just say we want to find the sum. We can say this. All right. We say AL plus AK plus AZ. Okay, you press enter. So you have this as 222. Can you see? You have this as 222. So naming a range is just very important, because when you name a range, you can easily identify the values, the variables that is taking a particular value in Excel. So that is the significance of naming a range. All right. So that is just it. So here we can also say sum. Let's say we say sum, and we are taking all this. It's still the same thing. Okay. So instead of saying that, we simply just say sum. We take this. Okay. We take this. We take this. All right. We press enter. Oh, sorry. What did I just do? So I'm supposed to take this. This is not a value, so it won't recognize anything. All right. So we take this, we take this, and we take this. So you can see that it is showing, instead of showing the what is it called now? How will I put this? Instead of showing the values, it is actually showing, it's actually displaying the names of the state. You can see we have AL, that's Alaska. Okay, I don't actually know the name of this, but it's one of the states in the US. Okay, so that's what we have. So once you press enter, you have it as 222. So you can see that it is Excel is recognizing the names instead of the values. So you can easily see that, for instance, if I see a formula like this, I can easily tell that this is the sum of the sales of 3 states, and I can easily identify the states. All right. So I do not want to overemphasize that any further, but I believe you all understand. If there is any question, you can always ask. Okay, let me have my WhatsApp on, so in case there are questions. Okay, now this video is actually recorded and will be shared live with you guys in class. So if there's still any questions you have, you can always ask. All right. So that is it about that. Now let's now go to another aspect. This is the non-contiguous naming of cells. Okay, so I'll click on this. So it takes me here, non-contiguous. Now, what do we want to achieve here? Now, you have an array of cells or ranges, okay, around your spreadsheet. This is first one, this is one, this is second, and this is third. And what you want to do is that you want to name each of these arrays, okay? You want to name each of these arrays. You want to give a single name to all these arrays, all these ranges, all right? So what you will simply do is, first of all, you hold on onto your control, okay? You release everything first, okay? So I'm not pressing anything now. So the only thing I'm pressing now is I'm pressing control, okay? I'm pressing control. I'll select this first one, hold on control, come here and select everything. Let me do that again. I'm selecting everything here. I'll come here, select all these. I'll come here and select this, okay? All right. Then I'll come here and type contiguous. Let me say contiguous. All right. So I'll press enter. So what that means is that Excel has simply recognized each of these names as contiguous. All right. Each of these as contiguous. Okay. So that's what we have. That's what we have there. I think there's a bit. We have a bit of an issue here. Okay. We're supposed to have this. Let's say this and this. Sorry, I think I didn't get something right. This, and this. Then you come here and type name contiguous. All right, so you press your enter. So we should be able to have this as the entire name. Okay. Okay, let me see if we have the name recognized. All right. Okay, we actually have the name recognized. So what that means is, what I was actually trying to do before, I was actually trying to see if Excel will be able to throw up these values by the time I select all this and check the name box, if Excel will be able to throw up this value here, but actually that is not the case. So Excel is only recognizing the last blank cell. Okay, the last unhighlighted cell I selected. Hello, Chisom, can you still hear me? Hello, can someone hear me? All right.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, beautiful. All right, so that is it. Now, if you the operation I just performed earlier on shows that Excel has actually recognized each of these values I selected here, this, and this, as contiguous. So if I type, for instance, let's say I have the word average. I have average, then I type the word contiguous here. So you see what happens? you can see that all the values we highlighted are named earlier on has been paid. So you can simply close it and press enter. All right. So what happens now? You see what happens here? Excel has taken the average of each of these. You see the average of each of these. So you can see the average here: 4.75, 4.75, 4 points. Should be able to return the average here. Okay. I think there is an issue, but we should be able to have it as the same. All right. So let's have. So that is that for that. So the basic thing I'm just trying to explain, I hope you got it, is that you can actually name different ranges, okay, different ranges in a spreadsheet in different locations by highlighting them, highlight each of them, come here and type the name that you want to give to the ranges. So that is what I want to ensure you understand.
They feel like saying
all right. So you can click on the outline to go back, or you have to move in back and forth. And that is actually the way this is designed. All right. So let's check out something else. All right. Let's check out something else. Now, this is very, very important. Now you should take note of this, and that is referencing. So let me click on referencing. This aspect is very, very important. By the time we get to our modeling of financial statement and all the rest, so you should please take very note of this. Take note of this, I mean. All right. So let's see how we reference cells. Actually, in Excel, there are about three different ways of referencing Excel, a cell. Okay. By default, Excel recognizes a reference as a relative reference. And when we say relative reference, what do we mean by relative reference? It means that the referencing change as you change your formulas, or as you drag down from one cell to another. Okay, for instance, if I have something like this, let me just give you a very good example. If I have something like this, now this is a reference here. If you look at the name box, Excel is referencing this as C15. That is a cell reference, all right? Meaning we have column C, row 15. Understand? Column C, row 15. So that's the default settings of Excel. So if I simply put something like this here, let's say here we have 5. Sorry. Okay, let's say here we have 5. All right. Here we have 2. Here we have 3. Here we have 4. Okay. And here we have 3. Okay, I'm just assuming a random value. Okay, I'm assuming a random value. I'm assuming a random value here. So simply, so if we now come here, we take this times this. We'll press enter. Then I drag this one down. All right. So see what happens here. Okay. See what happens here. This is by default. Excel recognizes references as relative reference by default. A relative reference means that the reference will change as you drag down the cells. So you can see this is C15 here. C15 times Z15. So if I move down here, it takes this value, C16 times D16. If you come to the last, it takes this value, C18 times Z18. So this is what we are all used to Excel. Relative reference is dynamic. It changes as you drag down from one cell to another. They are fantastic. Now, but what we actually want to talk about here is the absolute reference. Absolute what? Absolute reference. Now, this is a simple table that we have here. Now, this table simply lists items. We have items here, tomatoes, black beans, and so on and so forth. Then we have the unit price, we have sales tax, and we have line total. So what we simply want to do here is that we want to apply, there's a formula here, okay? There's a formula here. Okay, let me just do this. Let me take out, okay, let me take out this one so I can show you from the start. All right, let me take out this. Okay, so what we want to do here is we simply say here as sum, we are taking sum of unit price and sales tax, okay, to get the total, price. All right, then we have this. I bring this down. All right, now I want to apply this a singular sales tax here, 7.5%. Now this sales tax should be applied to your unit price to determine how much the customer is going to pay for each of these items. So what I will simply do is I'll come here, I'll select this, and I will say times. I'll select the tax rates, all right? So I select the tax rate and I press enter. I just want to show you something. Now, if I select the tax rate and press enter and drag this down, see what happens. There's an error, okay? Error in the sense that Excel is recognizing the reference you have taken as what? As a relative reference. If I click on this, for instance, you can see instead of still taking 7.5%, the line is now coming to line total, which is wrong. Here, instead of still taking 7.5%, it is coming to tomatoes. So we are multiplying all-purpose flour with tomatoes to get our sales tax. I can see someone will tell me that is actually ridiculous. So how do we get this done? Very simple. So what we'll simply do is, we have this already, right? Now you come here and you make this reference E4. You make this reference E4 an absolute reference. An absolute what? You make it an absolute reference. How do you make it an absolute reference? You can do it in two ways. You can do it in two ways. It is either you type in a $ manually. So you type in a $ here before E. I also type in a $ before 4. And you press enter. So once I press enter here and I take this down, you see what happens? Correct. So what happens now is Excel is taking the tax rate, multiplying each of the units price by the tax rate to get our sales tax. Okay, and when we add the sales tax to the units price, we get our line total. So that is what we have. So that is one way of doing that. Another way of doing it is I can undo this, for instance. Let me undo this. Let me undo what I just did. All right. Now, what I will simply now do is I will highlight this cell again and press F4. So just go to your computer. You will see F4. For some keyboard may require you to press function, hold down function and press F4. But my keyboard, in my keyboard, I can just press F4 directly. So once I press F4, what it means is that Excel changes your relative reference into an absolute reference. All right, fantastic. So you can press your enter, then you drag it down. All right, so you get the same thing. Now, F4 is actually used to change referencing. So for instance, if I click on this again, I highlight everything that we have here. Are you listening to me? I highlight everything that we have here and I press F4. You can see that now Excel is now changing the reference to a mixed reference. This is what we call mixed reference. Mixed reference in the sense that it is combining both relative and absolute reference. Now, anywhere you see dollar sign is absolute. When you see a dollar sign before a number will represent a row, of course, and a letter will represent a column in Excel. So when you see a dollar sign before a number, it means that particular row is absolute, meaning the row will not change, but the column changes. Okay. When you see, if I press F4 again, you can see that the dollar sign now is coming before E. Hello, can someone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you. Even though it's cracking though, but I can hear you.
I can hear you also.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic. All right. So when I press F4 again, you can see that the dollar sign is shifting. It's now coming before E. So in this case now, what is it called now? The column is now absolute and the row is relative. So this is what we call mixed reference. If I press F4 again, what do you observe? You observe that we are back to our original status, Abby. So it means that both the row and the column are now relative, and this is what we call relative reference. So we have basically three types of reference. We have relative reference, we have absolute reference, and we have mixed reference. For a relative reference, the cells will change. It's dynamic. The cells changes as you move down from one. The value changes as you move down from one cell to another. For absolute reference, it is both the cells, both the rows and the column are constant, so it doesn't change. Okay, and in most cases in financial modeling, what we make use of in most cases is absolute referencing. We shall see that when we get to how to model a complete set of financial statements. All right. So here I will click on enter. Sorry, I have to make it absolute by pressing F4. Okay, so we see how this is done. We take it down. So at every point in time, the Excel is recognizing the tax rate and multiplying it with the unit price to get the line total. This is very, very important. Relative absolute and mixed referencing. Referencing is very, very important in Excel. It is very, very important. So you should take note of that. Now let us look at examples of how to use a mixed reference. So this is an example of relative reference. I've told you that relative reference, Excel takes referencing as relative by default. And I've also shown you how to use your absolute reference. So we want to take a look at how do we make use of mixed reference. All right, let's go on. Now here we have two tables here. We have the current price and we have the discount option. Current price and discount option. So what do we want to achieve here? Now we have a situation here. Now there is a level of pricing and there are discount options, right? Now we want to apply each of these discount options to this level of pricing. Now, for instance, if the level of pricing is $100, okay, we want to apply 10%, 15%, and 20% discount options to $100. Okay, if it is premium and $200, we want to apply the discount options to $200. If it is deluxe and it is $300, we want to apply this discount option to this $300. So it is very straightforward. So what we simply do here is, I can make this, let me make this formula inactive so you see what happens. Okay, so I'm making that formula inactive. I told you, how do you make a formula inactive? It's very simple. If I remove this, for instance, I press enter, I come here, and I just type column, okay, singular column. The formula becomes inactive. So you can see the formula directly. So that's how you see the formula, okay? So what this means is, I want to explain something clearly to you. Now you can see that what we have here, the first referencing we have here is a mixed reference, right? Mixed in the sense that it has both absolute and relative. Now, the I, which is the column, is what? Is absolute. And the 6, which is the row, you can see this is the I here. This column is absolute, and this row, which is the 6, is relative. All right. Now, why do we have to make the column absolute and the 6? Okay. Now, why do we have to make? Some people are saying they can't actually log in. I'm saying. All right. So let's move on. So why do we have to make the row? Why do we have to make the row relative, and why do we have to make the column absolute? It's very simple. The reason is because we want our row to be dynamic, okay? And we want our column to be constant. There is one is dynamic and the other is constant. If that is not the case, then you cannot achieve what you want. So the column is dynamic, the column is constant because we are looking at just this standard price, okay? We are looking at this standard price, okay, we are looking at this standard price, okay? But the row is dynamic because we want to select okay, sorry for that. The column is dynamic because we are looking at the price. This is the entire price here, which is this. But the row, that's what makes the row constant. But the row is dynamic because we have different pricing options, and we want to apply these different pricing options to the discount. We want to apply the discount to different pricing options. Let me repeat that. We are having this column constant because this is where we want to look at all our pricing. This is where we have all our pricing. And we are making the row dynamic because we want to apply these three different pricing options, this different pricing to 10%. I hope that is clear. All right. So if I come here and I remove my quotation mark, so I'm making the formula active now, and I press enter. Okay, I come here and I do this. All right, so we have it as the same. So you can see that here in the second column, in the second cell, we are still taking this 10%. All right, we are still taking this 10%. You can see K5 is still 10%. Why is it still constant? Because you can see that we have made 5 absolute, which is the row. The row is absolute, but the column is dynamic. The row is absolute because it must always be this 10%. The column is dynamic. So that is just it. Now, I believe you all understand this formula. This is actually the price. This is actually the price that we have here. It's the price that we have here. And this is the discount amount. All right. So we are taking away this value. We are taking away this value from 1. So this is actually a percentage. So when you take away this value from 1, I use it to multiply what we have here. So whatever you have is total discount. All right. So that is just a simple formula there. Okay. All right. So that is it for that. So all these values we have here, you can see that I have different cells here in 2 different colors. So I've actually made some to be examples and some to be assignments. So after this class, I'll send you, I actually sent it in the last class, but I'll still send it again because I don't think every one of us have the file. So you have to practice with each of these things. So the essence is because by the time we get to our financial modeling proper, when we begin to see how to forecast financial statements. Can you still see the screen?
Yes.
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 Yes, we can. We can.
Right. So by the time we get to our financial modeling proper, like talking about how to model financial statement, forecasting financial statements, we are going to be making use of these tools. So that is why it is very critical that you understand each of them. All right. So I will send you the file for each of all these, like the historical events, last year, last 5, apply name, share data, and the rest. So you can practice them on your own. Don't worry. In our next class, we'll treat it. Okay, we may not be able to treat all, but at least we will treat most of all the things we are going to need to be able to master financial modeling. All right. Okay, so now let's go to the next part. Okay, let's go to the next part. I hope those who are finding it difficult to log in can be admitted. All right, so let's go to the next part, which is the lookup functions. Okay, lookup functions. And for those who cannot actually watch this video live, we are going to have a recorded, we are having a recorded session. So you are going to have a training material with this note, which you can also use to practice with. And if you have any questions, please ask. I think one thing I observe is most of you guys are not asking questions. I'm always entertaining questions. So if there's anything you don't understand, being it in the aspect of the introduction to financial modeling, every other aspect we talked about, please always endeavor to ask your questions. Now let's take a look at another very important aspect. Now this aspect is very, very important, and please, you should pay close attention. And this is the aspect of lookup functions. All right. Now let me select this. It takes me to this aspect. It takes me here. It takes me here. Now, if you take a look at this, this is lookup function. Now, basically, what do we use the lookup function for? The lookup function is actually used to look up a value in a table. In a situation where we have a large table and you want to look up a particular value in that table, you use the lookup function. You cannot actually be scrolling through a large database and be looking for what obviously is not lost. It's not lost in the sense that if you know how to use Excel properly, you can actually pick out a value in a large database with, at the snap of your fingers. All right. Now, basically, lookup function are of 2 types. There is VLOOKUP and there is HLOOKUP. V means vertical lookup, while H means horizontal lookup. All right. So there is actually a table here. Okay, I actually do a draft. I did this. Actually, what is it called? I made this notes. Okay. So I want to relate a table here. If you look at the table here, there is a table that relates to that value under VLOOKUP. So these are lookup functions. So you're still going to have a note. Never mind, you're still going to have a note. So this is a lookup function. And we have a table, a tax table. I actually want to show you a tax table. So let me see if I can have that tax table, give it to you. Okay. There's actually a table that this is used for. Okay, but never mind, we can still move ahead. So now, lookup functions are of 2 types, as I've said. There's VLOOKUP and there's HLOOKUP. Now, VLOOKUP is used when you want to look up a value if the table is arranged in a vertical form. And HLOOKUP is used when you want to look up a value if the table is arranged in an horizontal form. Now, there's a syntax for VLOOKUP, all right? And that syntax, okay, will tell you whether you want to look up an exact match or an approximate match. Okay, so let's just go straight to this exercise. Let's go straight to this. Let's see how this works. All right, now we have income. Okay, look at all the income we have here. Let me have this comma. Okay, let me do this. So look at all the income we have here, and we have a tax rate. Okay, we have a tax rate. So this one can actually be applied in a situation where we are having, for instance, our normal pay-as-you-earn system. Okay, the higher you earn, the higher the tax you pay. You can see that here the income is between the range of 0. If you look at this now, the first thing that we have here, this income that is dashed here means that we have the income between the range of 0 to 99. Okay, we have it between the range of 0 to 9,000. Sorry, to 9,000. Okay, so we are having here from 10,000. Let me extend this. I hope you can see this. Can you still see this? Are you with me?
Yes.
I can see. Yeah,
we are with you.
I just want to make sure that you guys are still there. All right, so here 29,000. Now here we have 30,000. Okay, to 99,000. Okay. Now here we have 100,000. So this is actually 100,000 and above. Okay, 100,000 and above. Just hold on. There's something I want to show you. I can as well just go to VLOOKUP directly and just give you a simple. This is actually a simple table anyway, but there is a basic idea that I want to let you know. And most people actually do not know this, and with that, they tend to misuse VLOOKUP, not knowing when to actually use it and how to use it. All right, so we have the income range here. Income range. So this is the income range. This is the income. This is the tax. So this actually is a replica. Whatever we have here is a replica of this. All right. Just that in Excel we cannot use this because this is a range. Excel will not recognize these values. Excel will only recognize this. Okay. So if we have this as dash, what this simply means is that the income range between 0 to 9,000, the income range between 10 to 29, between 30 to 99, and from 100,000 above. So if we have it, if the income is 0, the tax rate is 15%. Obviously, there's no tax anyway because there's no tax base. So if it is 10,000, it is 30%. You can change this to percentage. All right. So if this is 30, 34%, 100, and 40%. So what we want to take a look at here is that we want to take a look at now. These are different income range. All right. Now we want to use VLOOKUP to bring out the tax rate based on these income levels. All right. Now we have two different options. We have the option of true and we have the option of false. Now please take note. You use the true function when you want to return an exact match. When you want to return an exact match, you use when you want to return an approximate match, you use the true function. So if you use the true function, it means you are returning an approximate match. So if, for instance, we have this value, any of this value here, Excel will exactly return 34%. All right. But if this value, for instance, if 30,000 is not in this table, but there is a value that is the highest before 30,000. For instance, if we have 39,000, Excel will return that value that has what, 29,000. I'm not sure. Do you understand what I just said? Does anyone understand?
Not really, sir.
All right.
I think you should take it again.
Okay, let me take it again. Please listen attentively. So when we say the VLOOKUP, okay, there are two options. We have the option of true and we have the option of false. The option of true will return approximate match. All right. Okay, and the option of false will return an exact match. Now, if you are using the option of true, Excel will return the value. If the value you are looking for is not available in the table, Excel will return the value that is closest. For instance, you are looking for 10 and 10 is not available. The highest value before 10 is what? Can someone tell me? It's 9, of course. Everybody knows that. So Excel will return 9.
Yes.
10 is not available. If 10 is not available and we have 9.5, okay, let me ask you this question now. If 10 is not available and we have 9.5 and we have 9, what will Excel return? The closest value to 10, right? And which of that is the closest value?
9.5.
Yes.
Exactly, 9.5. So
9.5.
exactly. So that is exactly what I'm trying to explain with VLOOKUP using the true function. All right. So let's take a look at how this works. Probably you understand it better now. If I come here and I say VLOOKUP, okay, I'm typing VLOOKUP, all right? Now, the lookup value, the first thing you can see, whenever you type in a function in Excel, Excel automatically gives you the syntax. What you are seeing here is the syntax of the function. So the syntax is given to you as a format, so you can easily type in your formula, all right? So what do you want to look up here? You want to look up this, all right? You can see what I'm doing. I'm selecting cell D3. I come here and I select, okay, I select this. Can you see that? Can someone just see what I've just done? So I've selected this.
See.
Yes, I've selected this entire table. So the next thing I'm going to do, so that is the table array. The next thing I'm going to do is the column index. Okay, the column index is the column where you want to get your value. Is that clear to someone? The column where you need to get your value is your column index. Now, in this case now, we want to get our value from the column. What's the column here? The column is E. So that's where we want to get our value, because we are looking for rates. Do you understand? So the column is, this is first column, this is second column. So you type in 2. Do you understand? Now, if you want an approximate match, there are 2 ways you can get an approximate. You can see Excel is already telling you, do you want an approximate match or you want an exact match? So what do we want, guys? We want what? An approximate match. So if you want an approximate match, what you simply need to do is to type in true. All right? So typing in true will give you an approximate match. Okay? In some instances, you can just type in 1. Or you can type in 1. Okay? Typing it 1 will give you, I think you type in 0. When you type in 0, it gives you approximate match. When you type in 1, it gives you an exact match, which is false. So 0 is the same thing as true. False is the same thing as 1. Do you understand? Is that clear? All right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
I'm going to close this now, and I'm going to press enter. Can you see what happened there, guys? No. Now, if I come here and I drag this down, can you see what happened? Can you see what happened? Now, this is very interesting, and you must take note of this. You must take note of this, because by the time we get to financial model, we are going to see cases like this. All right. Now you can see that Excel is returning not available. This hashtag NA means not available. So how do you take out this not available value? Some are actually correct, because if you take a look at this table, in the actual sense of it, there are some values that is not available. Do you understand? For instance, if you take a look at this minus 1,000, we don't have, none of the employees here is earning minus 1,000. That does not actually make sense anyway. We can't have somebody earning minus a negative income. Negative income, in economics, negative income is called the savings. So there's no saving here, there's no debt here. All right, so that is why we are having an error value. So an error value is being returned here. But if you take a look at this, 30,000, you can see 30,000 is available here. 30,000, tax rate of what? Of 34%. So that is why we are having a value here. This is the same thing as 34%. All right. So I can just come here and do that percentage. So this is 34%. Now, if you click on this, what happens again? You can see that Excel is trying to recognize 29,000, but there's no 29,000 here. But I'm going to show you something. There's an error here, which I'm going to show you. Now, this is now NA, not available. Now, if you check what I've just done, that is why it is very, I told you earlier on that it is very important that you understand what absolute and relative referencing is. Excel works interwoven. Excel functions are interwoven. Do you get? So if you don't know one, it may be difficult to know the other one when we get to, so by the time we get to more advanced stage, you will see what I mean. Now, there is a need for us to make an absolute reference here. Are you getting what I'm saying? Because if you take a look at this, if I click this, for instance, it takes the entire table. You can see this red sign. It's taking this entire table. I press enter, I come here and I click this. What happens? It's dynamic, isn't it? The range is dynamic. You know, I told you about dynamic, absolute, and mixed ranges. The range here is dynamic. And what is the range? The range is D7 to E10. It is dynamic. So instead of it still referencing D6 to D9, it is now referencing D7 to E10, which is wrong. All right. So how do you correct this error? This is very, very important. No, so what you will now do is, when I created this, let me make this thing inactive. So I'm making this formula inactive now, so that you can see it clearly. All right. So when I created this aspect, this range that is here, let me just come here. So this value that is here, we need to make this thing absolute. All right, so that the entire table will now be static. It won't change. But as we are dragging down the formula, it will not change. We need to make it what? Absolute. Now, can you remember how you make a reference absolute?
Function 4.
Exactly. Perfect. Perfect. Function 4. So what you are simply going to do here is press function 4. This is not going to work. You know why it's not going to work? Can someone tell me why it's not working? Because it is inactive. All right?
Oh,
perfect.
yes.
I've already made this formula inactive by
introducing the comma.
Exactly. No, it's actually exclamation mark.
Exclamation.
Yes. No, it's not exclamation there. Quotation. Single quotation mark. Yes, single quotation mark. So I'm going to remove this single quotation mark. So the formula is now active. All right. So I press enter. So I will just double click it and I will come here. All right. I will come here. So what am I pressing now? I'm pressing F4. Do you understand? So you press F4 and you press enter. All right. Now you now drag it down. Brilliant. Do you notice something now?
Yes, the values, the non-available figures changed.
It just changed.
Exactly. So the available figures changed. All right. Now you can see that if I click on this, it's still taking the entire table. All right. I escape. Okay. I press escape. I release the formula. See, it's still the same thing. You can see. I come here. It's still taking the entire table. I come here. It's still taking the entire table. All right. So this is not available. So you can see minus 1,000. As I move on, I'm going to see how we can correct this. Right. Now, if you come here.
Hello, there's a bad feedback.
So, can you still hear me? Can someone still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear, but there's someone needs to mute. There's noise at the background.
We can hear you.
Okay. All right, perfect. Let's go on. Please, let's try as much as possible to reduce the background noise. Let's try as much as possible to reduce the background. I think that's one of the challenges we have in the last class, and we want to make this class as interesting as possible. All right, so let's go on. So if I click on this, you can see you're already aware of it. Why this is now static? It's no longer dynamic. Because we have made this range an absolute. All right. Now let's go to the basic concept I was trying to explain the other time. Now, if I click on this, 30,000 is here, isn't it? So we have it here. All right, 34%, 29,000. Now, this is very important. Now, if you take a look at 29,000, hello, can you hear me? This is very important. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
There's
a noise at the background.
There's a noise at the background. Please, the person should unmute his or her mic.
Please let us be quiet. Let's reduce the background noise, please. Let us reduce the background noise so that we can all learn. All right. So this is very important, and I want you to take note of this. Now, if you look at 29,000, can you see 29,000 here? Can you see 29,000 here? You cannot see it,
No,
right?
we can't.
There is no
Yeah.
9,000. But which value is closer to 29,000? Which value do you arrive at before you get to 29,000?
28.
28.
In this table, in this table.
In this table,
30.
You said?
30. 30 before.
10,000.
No, which value do you
No,
get
10.
at before you arrive at 29,000?
30.
In this table.
Then it's 10. 10,000.
10,000.
Brilliant,
10,000.
brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant. It's 10,000. So we can now see
10,000.
that 29,000 is now picking 30%. Is that making sense to someone?
Yes, because
Is it making sense to someone? So what this means is that you
yes,
can see it here. It's very easy. You can see it here that the income range with which we apply 30% tax is just like your pay as you earn. The higher you earn, the higher you pay. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So the income rate that will attract 30% tax rate is between 10,000 to 29,000 naira. And since we don't have 29,000, since we don't have 10,000, but we have 29,000, whatever thing we have that falls between the range of 10,000 to 29,000 must attract 30%. And that is why this 29,000 is taking 30%. Is that clear? So even if I take out, for instance, if I hide this, if I'm hiding this, okay, you can see I've taken out this. Even if I've taken out this one, so long we have 29,000 here, Excel is recognizing this 10%, this 29,000 at a 30% tax rate. Because obviously the income range, if I hide this, the income range is between 10,000 to 29,000. Is that understood? This is very, very important, and most people don't seem to get this in VLOOKUP. This will actually make you a professional in using Excel. Because most people actually do not get this. All right. So that is very important. So that is how we make use of true function. If you have any question, you can always ask in the WhatsApp group. All right. Now, how do we make use of the first option in VLOOKUP? Now, it's very easy as well. We are just simply going to say our VLOOKUP. Okay, before I go there, look at 104. 104,000. 104,000 is taking 40%. You can see, obviously, because we have this income range as greater than what? Greater than or equal to 100,000. So whenever we have an income range that is greater than or equal to 100,000, the tax rate must be 40%, and that's why this is 40%. Do you understand? And whenever you have, also take note of it, please. Whenever you have a table arranged in ascending order, please, you can write this down if possible. Whenever you have a table arranged in ascending order, that is when it is advisable for you to use VLOOKUP with the option of true. Very important. Whenever you have a table arranged in ascending order, you are looking up a table, you have a tax rate, and you are looking up a table in ascending order. The values are in ascending order. That is when you use the option of what? Of true. Because true will return an approximate match. And if there is no approximate match, Excel will return a number that is closer to that value you are looking for. And this is very applicable, especially in tax rate computation. All right. So let's take a look at first. I come here, I say VLOOKUP. Can you still see the screen? Can you still see this?
yes, we can.
All right.
Yes,
all right.
yes.
Okay. So when you come here, you say VLOOKUP, all right? Okay, so let's just repeat the same process. All right, so you say VLOOKUP, and you select this. Then you say comma. Then you come here, and you select your table. All right, then you say comma. So what is our column index? Can someone tell me, just one person tell me, what's our column index? 2. This is 1, and this is 2. All right.
2.
Now,
2, yeah.
instead of using the option of true, we don't want to use approximate match now. We want to use what? Exact match. And I told you that for you to select exact match, there are 2 options available. It's either you type in 1. 1 is the same thing as exact match. All right? Or you just type in false. So we take false. Do you understand? And we say this.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I thought 0 is exact match. I thought 0 is
Yes.
exact 0 or false.
Yes. Yes, that's what
True or false?
I'm about to say. Yes.
False is
The-
exact match.
which is otherwise can be used
So
as
it's either
0.
0 or false, right?
Which is
False,
otherwise
yes.
known as 0, which is the same thing as 0.
Yes. So true is 1, while
Yes,
false is
true 1.
0.
Yeah, true 1. Yeah. If I mixed that up earlier, sorry for that. Exact match 0, false. True or 1. Do you understand now? Do you understand? But don't let that confuse you. Don't let that confuse you. If that is confusing, just know that when you have false, false is exact. When you have true, true is approximate. Approximate match. True is approximate match. False is exact match. Is that clear? Is that clear now?
Yes,
So
that's clear.
don't let us confuse
Okay.
ourselves with false or 1. It's the same thing. When you have false, false is exact, true is approximate. We are going to try that out, sharp, to know if, to see the applicability when we start using either 1 or 0. But just know that true is approximate match, false is exact match. So that one should not cause an issue at all. If that is causing an issue, switch to false and true. Is that understood now? So let's go to enter. All right, so when you press enter, sorry, so I'm pressing enter here, and I'm now dragging this thing down. You can see, we are still having the same issue, Abby. So how do we correct this? How do we correct this? We select this, and we come here, we highlight all this, and press our what? We press our F4. So by pressing F4, we are making this formula absolute, all right? So click on enter. So when you click on enter, you now take it down. All right, you take it down. So you see what happens here. The fact is that whatever referencing we are making is still to this table and it is constant. Can you see? Can you see that? It's still to this table and it is constant. So you see that the only place where we have an exact match is 30,000. Can you see that? Every other thing is not returning exact match because there is no exact match for 29,000 naira. There's no exact match for minus 1,000 naira, which is ridiculous anyway. There's no exact match for 98,000. There's no exact match for 104. The only exact match that we have is for 30,000. That's the only exact match that we have for 30,000. So you see, okay, 30,000. So it's only this that we are taking into consideration. Excel is taking into consideration when you apply for. It must be exact. Now, I must stress this fact that by the time we get to our financial modeling, especially the aspect of how to model historical financial statements, how to map historical financial statement, exporting values into a ready-made Excel template, we shall see how we make use of the first function. So the true function is majorly applicable when you have values arranged in ascending order, especially, for instance, in tax rate computation. All right, when you need to return approximate match. But most often times in financial modeling, we make use of false and not true. All right, so perfect. Now let's now go to another important thing I need to point out to you here. Okay, this lecture, we have a whole lot to talk about, but we may not be able to exhaust everything today. Probably maybe we will take a break and we will check back. Okay, that would be fantastic, so that I don't give you, I told you that we have a lot to cover, but I will not want to overstress. I will not want to overstress you in a singular lecture. All right, so after some time, we'll take a break and we'll return back to the class. So the schedule time will be communicated to us. All right. So let's take a look at another thing, another very interesting thing. Now you can see that here, I made this table absolute, but there's another fantastic thing you can do. Instead of making, typing an absolute number here, what you can simply do is you come here, all right, select all this. Can you see this? Can someone still hear me?
Yes, we can. I can hear you. We can hear you.
All right. So you select all this, all right? Then you come here and you type tax table. Now, in naming exhibit, I say naming a range rather, if I say tax and I press space, I'm pressing space, and I say table. I want to show you something here. And I say table, and I press enter. You see what happens? You must enter a valid reference you want to go, or type a valid name for selection. So what that simply means is that Excel does not recognize spacing. In naming a range, Excel does not recognize spacing. So what you can use is underscore. So here I say tax, all right? I put underscore, all right? And I say table. Okay, then I press enter. All right, fantastic. So here now we have this. Can you see? Excel is now recognizing this entire stuff as tax table. Is that understood now? So here now I can simply change this. Let me copy this. Let me copy and paste it. All right. So we have this. Now, instead of using this, instead of making this absolute and having to press absolute F4 all the time, I can just come here and say tax table, select the name. You know, I've already created the name. I'll just select this. Do you get VLOOKUP D20 tax underscore table 2 and true. Then I press enter. Then I do this. I drag this down. Can you see? Can you see Excel is recognizing tax table? Tax table. This is tax table. Okay, and it is making it absolute. So this is a very professional way of showing your VLOOKUP. So you can see that what we talked about earlier, which is naming of range, is not even used. It's not even applicable. So you can see we are taking these classes in a logical way. First of all, we discuss about how to do referencing in Excel, how to name a range. All right. Then we discuss about how to do your referencing, and now we are talking about how to do your VLOOKUP. And now we are also applying the knowledge of range naming and referencing in VLOOKUP. You can see that there are connections. So if you don't understand one aspect of Excel, it might be difficult for you to understand the next aspect. So it is very critical that you understand. For instance, if someone that doesn't understand this, see this now, the person will just be like, okay, what is this VLOOKUP tax table? Which one is tax table? But that's what makes you a professional anyway. All right, so that is it. Here we can also say, instead of having this, we have this and we say tax. All right, we select this and we click on enter. So we take this down. Exactly, so it's returning, we're having the same thing here. All right, now let's take a look at another example here. This is another very good example. We have product ID and we have price. Now we want to take a look, we want to use VLOOKUP to look at B2, this product ID, B211 in this table array. All right, I want to take a look at B2, another B211 in this table array. Okay, they are basically the same thing anyway. So here we are just trying to see how do we look at the product ID from the table array. So you can see that this array now is not in ascending order. Okay, it's not in ascending order. So we may as well just use our false to return an exact match. This must be false. It can't be true. It must be false. All right. So what we simply do is we just say VLOOKUP. Now let's name this. Let's highlight all this. Sorry. Let me take out this. So let me highlight all this. I'm highlighting this. I'm highlighting everything here. And I'm saying product. Okay, I'll type in product underscore ID. Product underscore ID. All right. No, product, let me say product underscore price. Okay, product price. Then I click on enter. So here I'll just simply say VLOOKUP. All right. What am I looking out for? I'm looking out for this, Abby. Then I will say comma. I'll select this. All right. No. Okay. You can see that selecting this now automatically Excel is saying product underscore price because I've already created this as a name. All right. Now you say comma and you say 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Let me do that again. This is 1. This is 2. All right. So here, this is the first column. This is the second column. We are looking up B211 in this table array. Okay. And what we want to get, we want to return an exact match. It must be an exact match. You can see that this price is not in what? It's not in ascending order. All right. You can see that the price is not in what? It's not in ascending order. So we say, let's do it again. VLOOKUP. We select this. Okay, we say comma. All right. Then we select, we can just type it straight. Since we have created a product, you come up here. If you can't do that, select everything. So select this and say what? You say 2. Then you say what? You say, what's our exact match? Exact match is false. All right, exact match, false. So just enter. So you can see that Excel is returning 5.2. And what we have here is 5.2. Now, someone will ask, does this really make any sense? Because I can just see this in a table. This is just a simple table. I can just see B211. This is, so why am I using VLOOKUP? Don't get it wrong, okay? In the actual sense of it, you are not going to have a simple table like this. VLOOKUP is applicable in a situation where you have a database with a large array of tables and rows. So you can start using your eyes to be, the reason why we say it's a VLOOKUP is because we are looking up a value easily. Okay, you can start scrolling through a whole lot of database and be looking for a value that is not lost when you can actually use a VLOOKUP to easily return that value. All right. Now, can someone still hear me?
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Wilson, we can hear you.
Yes, right. We can hear you.
Fantastic, fantastic. So that is that for VLOOKUP. Now let's go to our outline. So I can see I've created an hyperlink here. So once I click on this, it takes me back to our outline. So let's look at some other things we can lay our hands on before. So I do not want to actually overemphasize VLOOKUP. All right. But there's something I want to show you now. This is also very important before we go to other aspects. All right. And that is IFERROR. Sorry, I have to jump to IFERROR because that is a logical, I'm taking this class in a logical sequence. All right. I'm taking this class in a logical sequence. I can as well come to index functions, match functions, choose max and min, but let's leave that for now. Let's go to a logic. Let's take it in a logical way. So let's go to IFERROR. I want to show you something in IFERROR. So here I will click on scores. Oh, sorry, I did not actually hyperlink this. I didn't hyperlink this, so that is why score is not showing. So I can just take the stress of going through the table and come here, scores. Scores is actually showing if function. Apologies for that. So this is another thing entirely. Okay, this is another thing entirely. Let's take a look at it. I think I named the range. I named the sheet IFERROR. IFERROR. Okay, let's come here. Let me come here. IFERROR. Never mind. IFERROR is not here. Okay. IFERROR is not here. Let me quickly check. If it's not there, don't worry. There's something we can quickly do. Okay. It's not a problem at all. So let's go back to our VLOOKUP. Let me show you how to apply IFERROR here. Now, can someone still hear me? All right, fantastic. If you can hear me, if someone can hear me, can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can.
All right.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. So let me take a look at, let me put you through how to use IFERROR here. Now, what do we use IFERROR for? IFERROR is actually used to return a customized value when Excel by default gives you an error value. I'll take that again. IFERROR is used to return a customized value when Excel gives you an error value. So instead of you having that error value being returned, you are returning a value that you have customized. That you are saying, Excel, I want you to look up a value for me, for instance. Now, if you can't find that value in this table, let me say I'm talking to Excel. I say, Mr. Excel, please, can you look for a value for me in this table? Excel says, okay, fine, I'm looking for that value. Now Excel checks through the table array, checks everything, and Excel says, I can't find the value. Excel now says, Mr. Wilson, okay, I can't see the value you want me to look for. I can't see the value you want me to look for. But do you have anything in mind? If I can't find this value, can I give you what you have in mind? And I'll say, okay, fine, Mr. VLOOKUP. Mr. VLOOKUP, if you can't find this value, return, I can't find the value. Do you understand? So I'm telling Excel, if you can't find what I asked you to look for because you are dumb, that's just a joke anyway, return, I can't find the value. Now let's see how we can put in I can't find the value in this table. All right, so we want to say I can't find the value. Excel will tell us I can't find the value. All right, now this is what you will do. It's very easy. Just take a look at what I'm doing. Now you can see that there is a minus 1,000 here. Here we are instructing Excel, Mr. Excel, look for a value minus 1,000 in this table array. Excel cannot find the value, and Excel is telling us it is not available. NA means it's not available, and it's an error return actually. Now we don't want this. We don't want Excel to return this error to us. We are saying, Excel, please return, I can't find the value. All right, so what you simply do is very easy. Click on this to make it active. Just double click on that formula to make it, active. Fantastic. Now, in front of that, of VLOOKUP, you type in if error. This is very, very important, and you must take note of this, because in our mapping of when we get to Excel modeling mapping, we are going to be making use of if error. If error combined with VLOOKUP. All right. So I will select if error. All right. Now you see that there's a syntax here. If error value if error. Please take note of that syntax. Take note of this syntax. You can see where the hand is pointing at, the hand on my computer screen. Look at where the hand is pointing at value. Let me analyze this for you. All right. Now this value that you are looking at here is the actual value that we created, the initial VLOOKUP that we created. Okay. All right. Now value if error. This other one that you are now seeing here, the value if errors augments you are seeing here, we now tell Excel that, Excel, if you cannot see this value, now return what I customized you to return. Don't give me NA because I don't want to see NA. All right. You can as well tell me that if the value is not available, just return 0 or just return a text. Now, if I want Excel to return a text and if I want Excel to return a value, there are two different things, and there are two different ways of doing that. If you want Excel to return a text, you have to put it in quotation. Do you understand? That is to tell you that Excel will return a text in case Excel cannot find that value I'm looking out for. It will return a text, and that text is, let me just try and be funny about this. Oga, I can't find it. All right. So I'm saying, Oga, I can't find it. So that's just being funny anyway. All right. Can you see that now? That's the text. Oga, I can't find it. So let me click on enter. So you see what happens. So Excel is telling me, Oga, I can't find it. All right. So I can just take this one down. You see now. So the same thing applies here. If you come here, let's do it again. You say if error, and you say comma, then you say, Oga, I can't find it. I can't find it. Can someone still hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right.
Yes,
so
we
say,
can hear you.
Oga, I can't find it. Then you press enter. So you see what happens there. Excel is telling me, Oga, I can't find what you asked me to look for. Maybe you should look for it yourself. All right. So you can see, Oga, I can't find it. Oga, I can't find it. Oga, I can't find it. So that is a text way of doing that. But if you want Excel to now say, okay, I don't want you to tell me, Oga, I can't find it. Excel, just tell me, just return 0 if you can't find what I asked you to look for. Okay, in that situation now, I won't say, Oga, I can't find it. So what I'll just simply put here, I'll just simply put 0. All right, so tell me the value is 0. Don't tell me, okay, I can't find it. And don't tell me it's an error. Just tell me it is 0. You see now, 0%. All right, so you see now, the same thing applies here. So you can see that here, I'm not putting it inside quotation. It is very, very important. When you're indicating a text in Excel function, it must be in a quotation. So you put 0 here and you drag it down. Can you see that now? So Excel is returning 0 value and Excel is returning percentage here. It is very, very easy. Now, can you hear me? Can someone still hear me? I hope that is understood. All right, but you can always ask your question if you don't understand anything in the group. Now, this aspect, VLOOKUP, I must explain to you now that VLOOKUP is very, very, very important. It's one of the important functions you have in Excel, especially as a finance professional and as someone who wants to learn a lot about financial modeling. You should know how to use VLOOKUP. It's very important. Another one is HLOOKUP. HLOOKUP is actually for horizontal lookup. So that one is not really applicable. So we may not really stress that here. It's the same syntax. The only difference is that HLOOKUP is looking at the table. You can see that what we have here, what we have been having here, what we have been talking about so far, they are vertical tables. If I copy out this table, for instance, now, if I copy out this table, for instance, and I put it here, and I want to look up a value in this table. This is an horizontal table, it's not vertical. Okay, and I want to look up, maybe I want to look up income. I want to say what is income. Income is 0 here. Okay, and I want to say maybe income. I'm saying income. Okay, and I'm saying HLOOKUP. So most people do actually use HLOOKUP because most of the tables we have, they are well, how will I put it now? They are always in vertical form. All right. So you take a look at this, and you come here, Okay. Then what is our row index? 2. Abi? Then you say 0. I put on this. So you can see that Excel is returning 0, which is the income. Very easy now. So that one, HLOOKUP is very, very, it's the same thing with VLOOKUP as I've said. But the fact is that we don't actually make use of HLOOKUP. Most of the time, we make use of VLOOKUP. So you'll be hearing more of VLOOKUP than of HLOOKUP. All right, is that understood? There may be a need for us to take a break so that we don't get exhausted. Even me myself, I don't get too much exhausted. So what we do is that we take a break. After some time, we come back into the class. Okay, you always have this video recorded. So in case you miss the class, you can always refer to the video lecture and go through. All right, so let's say by 1, so it's already past 1 already. So we started this class 12 o'clock. So we already spent approximately 1 hour 32 minutes for this video session. Okay, so probably by 1:40 we'll stop and we'll take a break. All right. Now let me show you another fantastic thing. I just want to show you another fantastic thing, and this is also very important. Let me show you this. So I will just quickly jump start. So do I have an hyperlink for this? Let me show you something very important. Now TB mapping, fantastic. Now I actually have an hyperlink for this. Can someone still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
All right, well done, class. Okay. All right, so let's take a look at this. So I think this is the last we are going to look at before we go for break. We need to go for a break. A scheduled class will also be sent out to you. So just make sure that you log into Zoom when the next lecture starts. All right. So this is actually we have actually made the effort to subscribe. We have actually made the effort to subscribe. So we have an unlimited time. Okay. Well, part of the issues we had earlier on was the allocated time wasn't paid for. All right. But this one has been paid for. So we can spend as much time as we need to. But that doesn't mean we should spend the whole time because we can get tired. Even me myself, I'll need to take a break. All right, so I don't get.
Hello, Mr. Wilson.
All right, so let's start. Hello, can someone hear me?
Mr. Wilson.
Yes, Chisom.
Yes, I think someone says that she needs you to retake the H lookup. Can you please do that? Like the H lookup that she didn't get that.
Okay, yes. Someone is saying that I should retake the H lookup. Okay, someone is saying I should retake the H lookup. All right, fantastic. Thank you. All right, so let me just quickly do that. Let me quickly do that. Where do we have? Okay, so this is it. Now I told you that the H lookup is also is important, but not as important as the VLOOKUP. All right. Now, please get this straight. Now, basically, when you want to use the H lookup, you are referring to a table that is in a vertical in an horizontal form. Look at it. This table is horizontal. This table that we have here, this is an horizontal table. This is horizontal because we are looking for this income in this. We want to see what value is this income taking, and obviously the income is taking 0, isn't it? The income range of 0.9 is having 0. What I just simply did was to copy this out. I just copied this out and made it a row instead of having it like this is vertical. If I select this, okay, downward like this, okay, downward like this from 5 to 9 is vertical, from N to P, from N to P is horizontal. So there is nothing difficult here at all. It's just the same syntax. Now, let me make this formula inactive. I'm making this formula inactive. Look at what we have. H lookup, N9. Where is N9? N9 is income. Look at it. This is N9, is income. All right. In this array, N5, this is N5 to P6. Okay. And we want it to be exact match. So what is income telling us here? Income as an exact match here. If I make this formula active by removing the quotation mark, it's 0. It's very easy. There's nothing difficult there. It's 0. All right. The only difference is just that in VLOOKUP, we are looking up a value in a table, all right, that is vertically arranged. In horizontal lookup, we are looking up a value in a table that is horizontally arranged. That is just the difference. So if you understand VLOOKUP, you should automatically understand HLOOKUP. Just know that H is a horizontal array, V is vertical array. That's all. That is all. So I believe I have answered your question. If there's any other question, please, you can always put them on the WhatsApp. You can always put them on the WhatsApp group, and I'll be glad to answer your question. All right. So I hope that answers that question. So let's quickly go back to our. I told you that I'm taking this lecture in a logical way. Okay, this is actually the best way you can learn Excel. It is logical. One must follow the other, because if I, for instance, if I assuming I've gone to just VLOOKUP directly without taking you through the rudiments of range naming, if error, and I start using all those functions, you will be confused, like, where is this guy getting all these things from? So that's why it's very critical that we take it logically. So by the time we get to a more advanced stage, you won't find all these things difficult. And I must implore you that for you to be able to know Excel very well, you should practice. You should what? You should practice. Now, once we finish this class, I will send you this file. Try as much as possible to practice on your own. I will send you class assignment. Try as much as possible to answer them. Like the last assignment we had, I had a lot of people submitting their assignment late. Please, let's try and avoid that. Try as much as possible to answer your assignment, do your task, because this will be graded. All right, fantastic. So let's move on to, I hope that answers that. So let's move on to where we stopped before we take our break. So for me to easily navigate that, I will click on an hyperlink. I will still show you how to do this hyperlink. I will click on the hyperlink. I will click on my mapping. Okay. Instead of always going back forth and through to the hyperlink, another thing I can just do, I can just copy this entire hyperlink. Very easy. I'll just copy this entire hyperlink. Just go to where I have my TB, whatever. my TB sheet. Okay, I'll go to where I have my TB sheet. So whenever I need to go to any link, I just click on that link. It takes me there for easy navigation. But that's not what we want to talk about. All right, so let's go to TB mapping. Now, please listen attentively because this is we are getting closer to our financial modeling class proper. All right. So we are getting closer to our financial modeling class proper. Can someone still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, fantastic.
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic.
Yes, I can hear you.
Fantastic. So I believe you can all see the screen. All right.
Yes.
So let's go there. Now you take a look at what we have here. We have a GL item, and we have a mapping, and we have a dollar value. We have a GL item, we have a mapping, we have a dollar value. Okay, GL mapping, dollar value. What do we want to achieve here? What we want to achieve here is very simple. We are still making use of IFERROR and VLOOKUP. Okay, we are still making use of IFERROR and VLOOKUP here to do mapping. So I'm just trying to tell you here the practical use of VLOOKUP and VLOOKUP IFERROR and how you use it to map a financial statement. All right. So basically, what do we call mapping in financial statement? Mapping is simply when you're trying to give a defined name to a GL item. All right. You have a GL. So take a look at this. All right. I believe most of us will understand what I'm trying to say here. A GL is your general ledger. So you have your GL. This GL is pulled from an ERP. Okay. Please follow this scenario. This GL is pulled from an ERP, for instance, QuickBooks. Now we have utilities, we have electricity, generators, motor vehicle, blah, blah, blah. Now we want to map each of these. What do I mean by that? We are giving a specific name to each of these items. We can say our utilities is office expenses. That means we are categorizing it as office expenses. Electricity as admin expenses. Repairs and maintenance. Now generators repairs is classified under repairs and maintenance. So what this simply means is that anywhere you see repairs, generator repairs, blah, 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 all those stuff, you take it as repairs and maintenance. Is that understood? So that is what mapping is. So we actually use this mapping to prepare our financial statement. For instance, you have your financial statement where you have your income statement, for instance, you have your sales, you know how that goes now. You have your cost of sale, you have your gross profit, you have your other income, all those things, up to your OPEX, your EBITDA, and the rest. We use this, we are still going to get to that. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, just bear with me. I'm still going to emphasize that when we get to later class. So you use this to map all this information into your financial statements. All right. But what I want to tell you here is that now if you have a GL item here and you want to map, okay, you have the GL item here that is exported from QuickBooks. And the value is not, the GL item is not well organized because you are having some lines that are repeated. And those lines need to be classified together, maybe under office expenses, under admin expenses. Do you understand? Now, what you will now simply do is you have already created a map in a sheet, in one of the sheets on your workbook. Now, you have another sheet where you have the values arranged, but not exactly the way this one is arranged. Are you getting me now? So how do you look up? Because you cannot be using your eyes to look for what is not lost. Because look for what is not lost in the sense that you can easily use Excel to look up the value. That's why I said it's not lost. Okay, so you want to be brilliant and be professional about it by using IFERROR and VLOOKUP. I've made this cell in this formula inactive so that you can see what we want to achieve. All right. So if I make it active, look at what happens. Look at what happens. So Excel is saying IFERROR VLOOKUP. All right. Now look up all this. Okay. You are looking up this value. Sorry, there is something here. Okay. You are looking up H4. And where is H4? Where is H4? This is H4. All right. So you are looking up H4 in this table array. In this entire table array, your H4 is utilities in this entire table array. So if I click sorry, if I click that, look at what happens. If I click that, because we don't have generator repairs in this.
Oh, again, sir, can you?
Oh, sorry. Let me get something clear. There's something I need to get clear here. Please bear with me. So we say this is actually the value we should look out for. So I will say if error, all right, VLOOKUP. Can you see that? So we have this, all right? So I'm selecting generator repairs. Can you see that, please? Then I say comma, then I come here and I say, I'll just select the entire table. All right, I'm selecting the entire table. Okay. Now, the value we want to look up for is the map value. Can someone still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Please, if you don't understand what I am doing, please ask questions. I want to ensure that you understand. You can ask your question on WhatsApp if you don't understand what I'm doing, because this aspect is very important. And I don't want to be explaining without actually communicating. All right. So here is basically what we have done before. Now, our mapping is in column 2. All right. Okay. So we select column 2. All right. And we have 0. Can someone tell me why we are selecting 0? Because we want Excel to return an exact match.
Exact match.
Yeah. Match.
You
You understand? So we close it. Now, what we are simply telling Excel to do is that, fine, I have exported all my GL. I have my trial balance. I've exported, sorry, it's not actually the GL. You know, in the trial balance, we have the GL items, all right? So I've exported my trial balance into Excel from QuickBooks, all right? The way my GLs are arranged is not well mapped because I have several GLs that are repeated, and I need to group all these GLs together as one. Do you understand? Okay. I have another sheet in the workbook that is not arranged in the exact way the trial balance is arranged. So I must be able to look up my mapping in a standard way. And that's why I'm having this formula, because this column G, the way you can see that the generator repairs here, it's not exactly the way it is here. There's generator repairs in this place. It's not in cell G4. It's now in G6. It's in G6 here, it's in G4 here. Do you get now? So here we now say if Excel cannot find this particular generator repairs in this table array, okay, then what it simply means is that we have not mapped it. Do you understand? Then you cannot say quotation mark, then you say please map. Is that clear? You say please map. Now there is something you must also do, which is very, very important. And who can tell me that? I just need someone to tell me that, which is very, very important. There's something you must do.
Yeah, you group it as a name range.
You said what?
You create a name range. You create a name range for the table.
Okay, that's number one. Someone said you create a name range for the table. Okay, fine. You create a name range for the table. That is one way you can do it. Another way you can do it, if you don't want to create a name range for the table, you make the range that you have selected an absolute range. You know, I told you that is that when you create a name range for a table, automatically it becomes absolute. And when you don't want to create a name range, you can as well make the range absolute by including your dollar sign. It's still the same thing. Do you understand? So what I will simply do here is, for instance, if I don't create that name range and I just drag this one down, it will not be correct. It will not be correct. Because if I click on this, for instance, look at what happens. The table is moving. It's relative. If I come here, look at it. It doesn't make sense. So if I come here, it doesn't make any sense. It's even taking the GL item. It's even extending further to another table. So this is absolutely wrong. So what we would simply do is in two ways. As someone said, it's either you create, you name the table, or you make the table absolute. Number one is you do this, come here and say, you press your what? You press your F4. All right. So press your F4 and press enter. So when you press F4, press enter, take it down. Fantastic. 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 So that is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it, you can just as the last person said, you can just come here. You know, we want to name this entire table. Okay, we want to name this entire table. I will say let's say May _ 2020 _ TB. So these are trial balance for May. All right, fantastic. So instead of having this, okay, it's still the same thing. You can just come here and say May _ 2020 _ TB, and you press enter. All right, fantastic. So take this one down. So it's still the same thing. So what we see here is that at every point in time in the row, this table array is made what? Is made absolute. Now, one thing you must ensure here, what we must take note of here is that if you take a look at this, electricity. Sorry, this is wrong. This is not spelled correctly.
Hello, are you there? Okay.
Electricity. Can someone hear me? Can you still hear me?
I thought there was a pause. I was thinking like maybe you had a pause.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you see the video?
Yes, we can see the video. I can hear you.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Now, so this is what I've done here. I want to explain something here. Now, if I click this, now you see electricity. Okay, electricity is being mapped here as admin expenses. And that is why we are having our mapping, admin expenses. Can you see that now? But if you look at motor vehicle, have we mapped motor vehicle? Obviously, no. We have not mapped motor vehicle because if you look at it here, it is blank. Do you understand? So if I map motor vehicle repairs as part of let's say general repairs, okay, general repairs. You see what happens? General repairs is coming up here. But if I don't map it, if it is blank, okay, if it is blank, I have motor repairs, okay? I have motor repairs. Actually, it's supposed to tell me if blank, please map here, okay? Supposed to tell me please map there. All right. Okay, so that is it for that. But I hope you understood what I actually did. It is very critical that you understand this. Okay. If we have the error, if we have an error return, Excel will return please map. Okay. But if there's a mapping in place already, Excel will return that map value. Okay. All right. That is it. Now this one, okay, look at this now. Okay, I think I know where that issue is coming from because we don't have, look at it now, we don't have a value here. So there's no mapping for this particular item. If I come here and I say, I have a value, I have a GL item, okay, that is not even in this row at all. Let's say insurance. Do we have insurance there? Insurance. Okay, we have insurance already. Let's say stationery. Okay, let's say stationery. Okay, so you can see that Excel is saying please map because there's no stationery here. We have not mapped anything like stationery in this table. So that's why we're having please map. So if I come here, for instance, and say, okay, let me just say I copy this and I have this, all right? You can see. Then this is mapped as general expenses. You see what we have there now. So Excel is recognizing it because we have mapped it. So that is basically what we use VLOOKUP. It is a practical scenario of how we apply IFERROR, VLOOKUP, and range naming to map our trial balance for the purpose of preparing historical financial statements. All right. So please, I am going to stop this class here.
Why is salaries returning 0? Sorry.
Okay, salary is being returned as 0 because it's not, because what we have here is 0.
Okay, it's
That is
blank.
not here now.
Okay, okay.
That's why it's
okay.
returning 0. If I put
Okay.
payroll cost here, for instance, payroll.
Okay. I was
That's
wondering why it's not returning please map.
okay, why is it not returning please map?
Yes, because it's showing, because that obviously means that salaries has not been mapped. So,
Yes, exactly. You are correct. Actually, it's because it is an 0 is being recognized there. We have 0 as being recognized here. That is the reason. If I have something else, let's try. Well, okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay, it's because 0 is being recognized here basically, and we don't have this GL item. Look at it here that we have please map. We don't have this GL item. G10 is not available here. This is blank. If I put something that is not, it does not matter if actually it is blank. Salary is here. Salary is also here, and what is mapped is 0. That's why this is 0. Do you understand? If you look at salary, salary is here. Okay, salary is here. The mapping of salary here is 0. Because we don't have any value, it means it is 0. Do you understand? If you have what is not in this GL item at all, what is not in this GL item at all? Let me say what is not in there. What is not there? Let me just say cost. It doesn't make sense, but let me just say cost. You can see it's saying please map. Do you understand now? Is that understood now? Exactly. So I believe you understand that now. So that is the reason why, that is the reason for that. All right. Can someone still hear me?
yes, can hear you.
Yes.
All
yeah, we
right,
can.
all right,
Can hear
beautiful.
you.
So in this case now, you can see that we have mapped all these financial statements. We have mapped all these elements, all these GL items rather. We have mapped the different GL items. Let's give a value for this. Let's say this is payroll cost. Okay, so we have mapped the different GL items as this. So this is a mapping. Now, how do we look up the value? That means we are trying to say, okay, fine, we have mapped. So how do we now look up all these values and import and have them here? That one is very simple. So you just use your normal VLOOKUP. So your VLOOKUP, you are looking up for this value, all right? Okay, you are looking up for this value in this table array. Now, who can tell me what's the column index here? The column index is what? 1, 2, 3. The column index is 3. All right, and it must be an exact match. So that is why it is 0 or false. I can say 0 or I can say false. If they are the same, if I put 0, it's the same. If I put 0, it's the same. So let me just say enter. So, and I click, I drag this down. All right. Now, you can see that some values is returning not available, error. How do you take that one out? I taught you that already. What you can simply do, just say if error. You add if error to it. If error, all right. Now, if the value is not available in the trial balance, please return 0. All right. Press enter. Can you see now? Brilliant. So you see that it is returning 0 because, of course, please map is not here. Please map, we have not even mapped the GL item, so there's no way we have a value. You can see. Okay, so that is a very brilliant way of showing your mapping and of preparing your financial statement at the end. So in practice, what we actually do is that at the end of the day, by the time we have this table in place, let me highlight this table. Let me highlight this entire table. So by the time we have this table in place, it is this table that we now use to prepare our financial statement, our historical financial statement. We are still going to get to that. I don't want us to discuss about that one now, but I will give you an hint. You may have your turnover, you have your normal format, COGS, you have your gross profit, Abi, you have your gross profit, you have your other income, you have your other income, all right? You have your OPEX, Abi, you have your EBITDA, EBITDA means earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. All right. Now you have your depreciation, blah, 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 up to where you get your profit after tax, okay, and so on. So basically, by the time we are in practice, by the time we have prepared all this, so the next thing we are now going to do is to use sum if. Don't let us go into that, please. We'll get to that. We'll get to that stage when, if you continue to follow up the class, so that I don't overstretch. We should be on break now. Now, the second item we have here is just the same thing. Okay, you can lay your hands on this one at your own leisure time. Okay, we are trying to map everything here. I believe you know what this means. We're trying to map this statement. This is a GL item. So we want to map, there's a mapping here. So we are looking up this mapping in this table. We are looking up the values in this place. All right? We are looking up the values in this place. So you can just attempt this one on your own. There's a formula there, but the formula is inactive. You can just make it active and attempt it on your own during the break session. As it is now, we need to go for a break because I'm a little bit exhausted. All right.
Please, when do we return for the break?
Okay, let's say this is as it is now. It is 4 o'clock. As it is now, it is. No, I said. Oh, sorry. It is 2 o'clock.
2 p.m.
2 o'clock.
2, yeah.
2 p.m. So as it is now, it's 2 p.m. Yeah. So let's say by in 2 hours time or 3 hours, 2 hours should be fine, right? So let's say by 5 or 4.
5.
That would be 4 now.
Yeah, 4.
So
to be 4.
5. Let's make it 5.
5. All right.
Okay, 5
Let's make it 5. So by 5, we are going to return back to the class. It's very important that you log in. A schedule will be created and it will be communicated to all of you in the class. We will send it to the financial modeling WhatsApp class. So it's very important that you follow up and you log in into the class before the scheduled time. All right. So it is very, very important. If you have any question after this class, please go through everything that we have learned. I'm going to share this. I'm going to send this.
Hello, Mr. Wilson.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, thank you very much for the class.
All right, you are welcome.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. You are welcome. So I'm going to share this on the WhatsApp group and I'm going to drop it in class. So please practice with it before 5 and please ask questions. You guys are not asking questions. From financial modeling lecture 1 up to where we have our lecture 2 ongoing now, I've not seen any questions. Please ask questions. If you don't understand anything, ask questions. All right, so thank you very much for your time. I will see you at 5 p.m. Thank you. All right, please.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
All right, you're welcome, please. All right, so please, you can, Chisom, you can please end the class. So let's have the video session. So the video session, the recorded video session will be shared with everyone in class. In case you miss the class, you can always look at the video session. The notes will also be shared that will detail out everything that we have explained. So, Chisom, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I'll end the class now.
You can take us out of the class now. We have the video session recorded. So share the video session on WhatsApp. So people who don't have the